Hey, everybody. Welcome back to this week's podcast, Red Paw. Once again with Dr. Bunge. Thanks for joining today. Today, we're going to talk about a subject that everybody or thinks about, rather, when it comes to trying to find perhaps a device for home, something that you use on the regular when it comes to red light therapy or light therapy in general. So we're going to get into that. Maybe you yourself have been in that position where you've been online looking at things, but then you come across some questions: wavelengths, irradiance, joules. What does all this mean? Well, that's what Doc and I are going to dig into today. So let's talk about the first segment, which is going to be wavelengths. Okay. Doc, what is a wavelength?
So that is the pulse, or I don't know how to describe it in physics term, that these photons of energy reach our body. And photobiomodulation, or red light therapy, focuses on the 600s and then from 808 to 1064. And so if we're talking about red light therapy, we're talking about very specific ranges versus something like blue. Blue is a much lower, it's not the same effect. Actually, why is blue? Let's talk about blue for a second. It's antibacterial because it actually has a different mechanism by working. Same thing with way down the spectrum beyond 1064 is infrared. It heats you. Blue creates an ionizing effect, which makes it really good for skincare. But is it the same benefit as red light therapy? No, not at all. Nor is infrared. So these wavelengths, in particular, the mid 600s, 633, 635, 650, that's the color red that we're seeing right here, okay? And then we get up to the 800s, and we can't see those with the eyes. So if we turn on the bed out here in a second, this is the TheraLight 360. See how you can see lines of red, but you can't see the ones in between? Those are the near wavelengths. They're not infrared, and I really don't like when people call them infrared because they're not. They're near. They're very close. They're not a thermal effect.
So basically, they're the light that is in between red and infrared.
That's a good way of putting it. Yep. And we can't see them. Our eyes just can't see them, but our cameras can. I mean, if you put your phone on this, and you'll see the purple. It's kind of cool. But these are the wavelengths in sunlight that our human bodies have been developed to use to create telomeres and telomere protection and mitochondrial energy and intercellular circulation and stem cells. Our bodies are really good at using these wavelengths, again, without causing the damages of heat or the UV blue ionizing effect.
Yeah, 100%. Okay, excellent. Well, thank you for that. Now, when we look at within red light, since that's really what we specialize in, within those spectrums, the ones in the 600s, what are those good for?
Well, the color, now, first of all, this isn't a red light bulb. Okay, and there's lots of red light therapy. If there's lots of gyms that have just they have a tube and you stand on it, it's really good. But it doesn't penetrate as much as you think. Okay, but that's it still does the same benefit. It still does it. It's just the near wavelengths, is particularly the low 800s or the 1064s, they can penetrate through muscle and bone. Okay, and so the 600s are the ones that are going to create what we might call the superficial maximum benefit. However, again, all red light therapy has an incredible benefit. And there is a systemic, when you do something like the bed, if it didn't have the near wavelengths, that red light therapy benefit would help the rest of your body with oxidative stress, creating energy, modulating inflammation, creating stem cells, all these things.
So. Okay. Yeah. Excellent. So that's good, because I know that when it's not your field of practice and you're online looking and you say wavelength, it's good to be educated in what each wavelength actually does and what it's good for, so that we can make an informed decision when deciding what to use on our bodies. So thank you for that.
May I? Okay. Yeah, so the skinny of it is that the reds are going to be more superficial. The near wavelengths are going to be more penetrating.
Yeah. So like your reds, good for the skin, healthy for wound healing, things of that nature. And then when you get into the higher numbers, like you mentioned, the 800s and the all the way up to like 1064. In between those numbers, they get deeper.
Yeah, if
Yeah.
we want to get, I mean, this is muscle, okay? You know, that red isn't going to penetrate. It's going to be great for here, but if you need to get into that pec or that hip or that knee, you need those near wavelengths.
All right, excellent, excellent. So that covers our first segment. Thank you for that. Let's get into the second segment of this video. Let's talk a little bit about irradiance and energy. Irradiance, what is that?
So I think we're talking about power.
Okay.
Okay, well, the third segment's going to be the joules.
Yeah, we're going to get into the next segment. Yeah.
Okay. So irradiance is, again, I think we're going to continue what we just were talking about, the ability for it to reach the target.
Yep, 100%.
Okay. So now that we have these proper wavelengths, and we're going to be talking about how much power is enough, okay, or too much, which isn't really an issue for most of us. We're talking about the irradiance being able to reach the target. So like the spot treater from Red Paw, it's got the near wavelengths that can reach deep into the joint and hit the targets. The red will provide a superficial benefit as well, and combine those. That's what we want. We want to talk about. Okay, so maybe this is the point where we talk about what does it do, okay, and then we'll talk about power later. First of all, this is my Penn State tie. I get to go back to Penn State tomorrow for a couple days, and since 1984, this is where I studied biomechanics, physiology, aging. 1987, gerontology. I mean, that's a long time ago. I've been studying this stuff, and in 1987. I learned about telomeres. So when we talk about what does this irradiance actually do for us, I call it TMIs, too much informations, okay? And I know it's a lot. I just, again, since 1984, I've studied this stuff. And 2010 started studying red light therapy. So telomeres, that's your regeneration. That's your potential to heal, not just heal, but to heal better. Mm-hmm. That's anti-aging. That's why it works for age. It protects it from oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. It modulates inflammation. M, mitochondria. That's specifically these photons, these wavelengths of light, reach into our mitochondria and have just the right amount of energy to clean it out and get it working again. No better way to put it, no simpler way, as long as you can reach the target. Okay, and then this is something, because I deal a lot with injuries, you need to get, it's not just circulation, it's microcirculation. And so now that we have reduced oxidative stress and we have energy, we get stuff in and out of the cell wall, intercellular circulation at the microscopic level. And that's critical, and how this works compared to every other therapy. Just because you get blood flow there doesn't mean you're necessarily getting it there. Just because you create inflammation doesn't mean it's necessarily creating this ability to signal back and forth. And then the last thing is stem cells. So with these benefits, our bones will create stem cells if we're trying to heal or get stronger or faster, or whatever it is we're doing. These benefits allow those stem cells to proliferate throughout our body, and they do migrate. They don't just stick. Just because you put some stem cells in the knee doesn't mean they stay there. They migrate. So TMIs, that's what this irradiance does, and it does it very safely. I mean, the benefits are countless right now. You can watch watch really good from Michael Hamlin, PhD, or the doctor from Harvard. I believe he's now retired. He has a good, 90-minute video. There's videos out there from back in the day, not this new stuff where they're just selling something, but you go back to the people that did the research, the stuff that I watched, and how this irradiance energy works. So,
okay, excellent.
Thank you for giving me a chance. TMIs.
And then, it's funny, joules kind of goes into what you were already saying there. So you got the irradiance, which is how much light reaches the tissue, but then joules is how much energy the tissue receives over time.
Yes.
And so during that treatment process. So, I like to use the bucket analogy there. When you're comparing the two, both are necessary because they're part of the utilizing red light therapy. However, you look at it, the irradiance would be turning the faucet on, the water coming into the bucket, and then
How big's the hose?
yeah,
You
and
want a
then
sprinkler that goes, tick, 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 or you want a sprinkler that has a fire hose?
right, and then irradiance would be how much water can that bucket hold as it's coming in.
That's a good
Treatment
way of
over
looking at
time
it.
kind of thing.
Sure.
So yeah, but yeah, no. So when looking at it, you don't have to think it's overwhelming. Just you have the facts now. Now you can kind of monitor what's going on and realize that all three of these things are important. Your wavelengths are important because it's different wavelengths accomplish different things. And then with regards to irradiance, you got to be able to get deep if you're wanting something deep taken care of, or if you're just wanting skin, you don't have to get that deep. So once again, there you go, irradiance. And then with regards to this joules, how long of the treatment do you need? How long of a treatment do you need?
That's the big question. That's, and I have class 4 laser and, the best bed ever made. And I built my own chair and we got all this other stuff. So technically in science, it's called 7 to 10 joules per centimeter squared. Okay. Which you can accomplish pretty quick. Okay. And trying to reach into a shoulder joint or hip joint, you got to be able to get down in there. You can't just do it from this. I mean, you can do a lot of benefit from the surface, but being able to push, that's why I use an Aspen laser, because it has a special head that allows me to get in there, not just from the surface, but get in there. And, or some of these lasers shoot from here down, a lot of people have, like the spot treater, should you hold it 6 inches or 9 inches away? Well, I mean, if you have deep tissue, just put it right on the skin. To accomplish this dose is what the joules are. It's the dose, okay? There is some literature out there saying over 20 joules per centimeter squared seems to have it's not that it hurts it, okay? It's that that's something I want to talk about, that it has a decreasing ability to create the benefit. Yes. You just want to put enough in there and then let the body do its job.
Right.
Let it TMIS. Let it do its job. Overcooking it, as I call it, unfortunately, but overdosing it, it's not going to increase the benefit. Will it make it worse? I haven't really seen anybody overdo it. There's folks doing huge doses. I do 35,000 joules in a session. Very happy with that. There are some folks out there, especially selling class 3 lasers and whatnot, that say, well, less is better. I don't know. You got a whole body here. There's 4 trillion cells in this body. You can put a lot in there to benefit it. But generally, what I like to say is, once you feel it pretty warm, move it up, down, or around. Come back to it. When I help people do stuff at home, I say, start with tummy time and then move it to your target and then move up and down. And when you feel it, really nice and warm, if it gets warm, it should get warm, go to the other side or go up or down. You can always come back. Generally with anything that's a good quality product, okay, shouldn't take more than 10 minutes. So there's 3 kinds of red light therapy. We have real lasers, okay? When something says it's a laser and it's a chip, to me, it doesn't make sense. And that's because I've had a real laser for over 13 years now, okay? And then you have big diodes, and that's what your spot treater has, big diodes, okay? And then you have these things called chips, which are a revolution, a miracle of science that we have today, that we didn't have a couple years ago, chips that were incredible. And the chips are very low dose, which means you can put that pad on there, but like doing your face with the face and the thyroid and whatnot, and the neck, at the most 20 minutes, and it'll be safe because the chip is not putting out that many photons to reach that 20 joules. When you have big diodes like the spot treater, especially thin, I mean, you can put that on your hip for, again, a good, I like to do 5 to 10 minutes, okay? Usually in 10 minutes, I'm pretty good. And then the class 4 laser, well, that's clinical work, and that's a whole another ballgame. So these guys, so joules is about dose. My advice is do 3 to 5 minutes. If it's warm, move to the other side. If it's something that's really bad, come back to it. Spend another 5 to 10 minutes, or think about 20 minutes total. You don't have to do it all at once. Let the body absorb it, get the circulation in there. Try to reach deep if you can. And so we got the wavelengths, or the reds and the nears. The irradiance is the TMIs. And you got to support that with good nutrition and rest, and not overdoing the exercise either, if you can. Help yourself. And then the dose, the joules, you generally 5 to 20 minutes, depending on what it is. The spot treater has the big diodes, the face and a lot of the chips. You can go 20 minutes. I've let chips sit. When I had the pneumonia, I let the chips sit. I had a vest, and I let it sit on there for 40 minutes, and felt great. I mean, it was incredible. And so you really can't overdo it. But with the spot treater, especially like, where there's not much meat, right? Mm-hmm. You gotta, be reasonable, and more is not necessarily better. Hopefully.
Yeah, no.
It's pretty complicated. And don't forget, you got different people out there, Yeah. You got youngins, you got the 20s, you got the 30s or 40s, you got the 45s to 60s, and then you got the over 65s. And each one, you have to just feel it out.
Know your body and work with what your body works with, right?
And if you're working with clients, which is what we're talking about here, is working with clients, the older... anybody that's done a massage or treated someone that's, 70 years old realizes there's not, unless they're tubby, if they're skinny or whatever, there's just not a lot of muscle there. And so, you don't need to go as hard or long or maximum joules. Just get it nice and warm. And again, come back to it. You can come back to it and rotate. I like to start closest to the heart and lungs and then move out. When I do chiropractic work, I start up here. I get this whole, because I do a lot of spine nerve regeneration is my main thing. Okay. I want you healing. I want the inside of your spine healing. I start up here, get that CSF fluid moving down, get all the shoulder muscles relaxed, get the breathing normalized, get the muscle spasms out. Then I start working down with the core, knees and toes. And then I come back to the shoulder and make sure, go down the arms. So develop that core, knees and toes, head and shoulders kind of thing, is what I teach.
All right. So and hopefully that's been informative there with respects to, looking at the different specifications of products that you might be examining and comparing. Mm-hmm. And so, All right. So segment number 3, we're going to talk a little bit about maybe a couple things we've already talked about, but what should you look for? Obviously, we talked about wavelengths. Mm-hmm. So looking at that and deciding what you need at that time. Does the company you're looking at online, do they publish their irradiance?
That's, just because they say watts, that's, today there's a lot of people selling red light therapy. And the first thing that I notice is that it's like how many watts or whatever like that, and they really don't talk about the power of the unit. So, and it can't deliver the joules per centimeter squared, the 7 to 10.
Yeah. And and then do they publish the energy that's delivered? That we just talked about, the joules. Yep. And at what distance were those measurements taken? Did it? Was it right up on the skin? Was it far away? Because that makes a difference. Yes, knowing the energy of that device as to giving an accurate description there. Can you easily contact somebody from the company to find out more about it if you need to?
Can they answer the question?
do you send them a message and there's the blank, nothing comes back? That might be a red flag. So, but you definitely want to make sure that you're able to do all of that when making an informed decision, because all of us want to make good decisions when it comes to things that we use for our health. So, I know that at Red Paw, we've taken pride in being more than just an online company. Can you buy the product online? Absolutely. But, our vision at Red Paw is working with people just like you, Doc, out there in the field, that are directly dealing with people, so you can see direct results with people. And
The first time you use it,
yeah,
you take this home and you use it. That's the secret.
yeah. So I mean, you can't really get benefits without use, right?
You should be able to take that, and the first time you use it, and do it yourself. Do it on whoever is closest to you, because everybody's got neck and shoulder tightness.
Yeah.
Everybody's got, if you've got headaches, do the, TMJs and stuff. Yeah. You got to get your feet wet. And then pretty soon you're swimming full speed, doing it Olympic style.
Yeah.
And you got to have, again, back to a quality product with people who are in the business wanting to do the best possible outcomes for their clients and their clients' clients. So,
Absolutely, 100%.
yeah.
And I think all in all, Doc and I would both be in agreement here. All of our health deserves more than just good marketing. So, something to think about as you're looking over what product you want to use. We encourage you to find a company that's good for you. And if you decide to work with us here at Red Paw, we do stand behind our products, and we'd love the opportunity to help better your health and your journey. So just keep this in mind. And Doc and I are going to continue to come here and try to keep you informed on different areas of life that can be improved through the use of red light therapy. So,
Yeah. Thank you.
yeah,
Thank you for the opportunity, and thank you for watching.
Till next time, see you on the next episode.
Ciao.